Hi, this is David Daniels from Radon Safe Homes. It's been a little while since I've done a video, so I thought I would do one based on a few things that happened recently. Just went to an estimate in Appleton the other day, and typical house, nothing out of the ordinary with it. Gave him the estimate, and then the following day found out that from the agent, it was a for sale by a real estate transaction. Found out from the agent that the person that did this radon test for the buyer that they haven't calibrated their equipment for quite a long time, over a year. And radon testing equipment needs to be calibrated at a minimum once a year, unless it's a charcoal canister or that kind of thing. And then when they do that, they need to make sure that they're following quality control protocols and some other things. But if it's a radon monitor, which most people use when they do radon testing for hire, they just need to make sure that, again, that they're getting that monitor calibrated annually at a minimum. And then it goes to a certified lab to do that, and that they get a report, they get a certificate, and then also that their equipment that they purchase and use has to be nationally certified also, by there's two organizations that certify testing equipment, and to make sure it's on either one. The Indoor Environmental Association is the one I really push and believe is the one that would have more stringent requirements, and the one you should really use when you're looking at certified equipment and things like that, and certified labs to use. So I had to go to the home and today and drop off a radon monitor, and it's Tuesday, so we'll be able to pick that up on Thursday afternoon, and then we can get the report to them Thursday late afternoon, and they'll meet their deadline for Friday to get it done. So luckily, we were able to get called fast enough and get it set up fast enough and get in there and do that. Another thing is that over the years, some protocols for radon installations have changed. And one thing is that the height of the pipe, and I might have discussed that in an earlier video, but just want to confirm that the vent pipe needs to be a minimum 10 feet off the ground. And it cannot have a fitting on top of it that turns the airflow down towards the ground, like 290s on top, creating a 180-degree turn. I just saw one at a home the other day, and it literally was right on top of a window where it was bending down. So anytime that window is open, the house is going to suck that high concentrated radon into that room. Now, if you do a radon test, you might test at, let's say, 8 or 9, something like that, in the basement or first floor, wherever you're testing. Well, what's on your slab, what's under the foundation, could be 1,000, and that's what's going to be coming out of the pipe. So you can imagine a window being open and having 1,000 picocuries coming into that, through that window into that room. Not a safe place to be. So the standards are there for a reason. So make sure that that vent pipe is above the roof, about a foot above the roof, at least it's supposed to be now 4 feet above windows that are within 10 feet of it. So you need to be doing that. But find a good location to mount this thing to where it's not going to be, a negative aesthetical issue. And the one thing is, if it's a really tall house, really huge rise on the pipe, and the windows are far enough away from the pipe, you go up 15 feet and stop and put a 45-degree turn on it to where it's venting up at an angle, not down towards the ground or not down towards a window, because there's a cone coming out of that pipe blowing sideways and down. And once you reach 15 feet, you're meeting the standards. But you have to make sure you test in whatever room is near that vent on the other side of the wall. You need to retest the basement when you're retesting after the system's installed. You also need to make sure you retest that room, that somehow radon didn't leak in through the siding and through the OSB board or what have you into that room, that room's not having high levels of radon seeping in through something into that room. As long as both tests come in low, you're good. And that's again, houses that would maybe a walkout basement with 2 stories on top of it. You have a huge vertical rise, and then you can do that as long as you're looking at the front of the house, drawing a horizontal line, being a minimum 10 feet off the ground there, and then adding another 5 feet, and then that 45. Again, as long as all windows are at least 10 feet away from it. Because if there's a window 5 feet away from it, even around a corner, you have to continue up 4 feet above that window. Then you can do a 45, as long as you're not near the soffit, to make sure that that moist air coming out of the pipe isn't going to get up into the attic space through the soffit. So it can get complicated. And so if the roof's even close, just go a minimum foot above the roof. So any comments, put them in the underneath the video. And again, our website is Radon, www.Radon Safe Homes and Businesses. We have a contact page. You can always send me a question through that. Even if you're not in my area, more than happy to answer your questions. And besides that, have a great rest of the day, and until we see you next time.